Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank Mr. Cobello for this wonderful speech. He spoke about data and transparency and many other topics covered. And we will now be starting a small dialogue, sort of a small panel with very few questions. And I'll try to moderate this panel with them. Thank you. If I may join you,
yeah, sure.
Gentlemen. First of all, thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you for your cordial presence. And I would like to ask you some questions, and your presentation also focused on energy and how we could achieve the sustainable development goals in terms of the energy efficiency, consumption, and how it starts, in fact, with the thought of probably the responsibility of leaving a better and clean world to our grandchildren. You have emphasized that. And being raised by grandparents, I can't emphasize how much this means to me and to so many other audience and members here, I understand, and thank you. And Mr. Cobello, thank you so much for mentioning about especially the ESG and the inclusion, and the dashboard here you have shared with us is really meaningful for the data transparency. And we'll be also happy to receive some questions from the audience as well towards the end of our very small dialogue. I'd like to ask you now, Mr. Seermans, what encouraged your company to push the boundaries in terms of sustainable solutions you offer? What has been the motivation, sir? Thank you.
There is, thank you. There is a simple answer in the sense that when you go visit your clients...
That makes perfect sense. Thank you so much for answering this question. Thank you. And exactly the same question goes for you, Mr. Cobello.
Yeah, I totally agree. We have a goal for 2030.
Thank you so much for your answer. And you've also quoted from Gandhi.
Yeah.
That has attracted all of our attention here. If you'd like to see the change in the world,
yeah,
start the change by ensuring that you become the change that you'd like to see in the world. That was a lovely quote.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, we are companies, we are groups, we have team members.
Thank you so much for your answer. And now I'd like to proceed to the next question, if you may allow me to. Mr. Seermans, what else does FM industry need to do to create impact?
Well, it's clear that...
Practical applications, and there is always room for improvement, and FM sector has certainly come a long way in order to achieve the recognition, because it's a long way and it's still continuing as a long journey, and it's good to be with you all alongside with this journey. Now I'd like to ask exactly the same question to you, Mr. Cobello.
Yeah, I think that the real impact is when you calculate and you know.
And in your dashboard, we have seen the colorful dashboard here with the titles and the ESG items underneath being shared by percentages, and you have included there so many important topics such as social inclusion and many other ESG goal-related features and characteristics. Thank you so much for sharing that dashboard with us. And the last question to you both. What is one key ingredient that helped your company succeed or be where you are today? It could be anything. It could be, I wouldn't like to give you the clue. I think there
this time you start.
Yeah.
My pleasure. I would like to mention here what's...
So you've mentioned about disruptive thinking out of the box and challenging and going beyond the glass ceiling.
Exactly.
And would you like to...
Yeah, to me it's the same as...
I understand. Thank you so much for your answer. Now I'd like to turn to our audience to ask whether there is any question or any comment about the two presentations made, transparency, data, and how it is categorized, ESG. Any other questions or any comment or any wish?
If I may say one thing, is that, we were talking about the circulation, and it's actually a very interesting subject. How often do you get the example right in the room?
Absolutely.
There's another aspect. There's a lot of people here.
What are we compromising, and at the expense of what are we bringing a balance? What's the offset? What are the minuses and pluses? Thank you so much for this good question and lovely answer. Thank you. Any other questions or any comments, unless there is one? Okay.
What's your opinion about the user behavior as well? Because, for example, with the van, but the door is also open, so you already notice that it's not in balance. And Michael already said that like 25% is about user behavior. Isn't that also a quick win?
Good question. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Annabelle. That's a really good question. There is, obviously, do you want to have...
Thank you for this good question, great question. Thank you. And doesn't that also bring us to behavioral change? And that was one of the topic of the presentations here, I think by Miss Selan. The title was Nudging, and it was really good presentation about how the behavioral change is put into cascading or the steps. Thank you. So we're ready to receive another question or any comment, but unless there is any, we will be proceeding with our program. I understand that there isn't any. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank Mr. Seersman, and I'd like to thank Mr. Cobello for your great answers and for your cordial presence here with us today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Done.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. They'll be helping you with, taking... Oh,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you.